In a world where 1% of the population owns 40% of the planet's wealth, in a world where 34,000 children die every single day from poverty and preventable diseases, and where 50% of the world's population lives on less than $2 a day, one thing is clear: something is very wrong.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, me, Aditya, and our team would be presenting on an insight on honest profit. They say comparison steals the joy of sharing. But honest and profit, are there two words which are quite similar to each other? Alex?
It is. And if we look at the definition of honest, the Oxford Dictionary defines it as free of deceit, truthful, and sincere. And likewise, it defines profit as a financial gain, especially the difference between the amount earned and the amount spent in buying, operating, or producing something. The two words, when viewing separately, don't seem to have a correlation whatsoever, but putting them together makes an impactful word: honest profit. Throughout the ancient times, we have observed that the human being has been involved in making profit in both honest and dishonest way. Unfair trade practices date back to prehistoric times, like the times of the barter, where people would exchange commodities on a double coincidence of wants. Exploitation of manpower began in times of slavery, Middle Ages, where feudals, warlords, would exploit vassals in their own interests. When this unevenness was observed, the money, new economic tool, was introduced as a benchmark in the exchange of goods, commodities, and services. Unfair practices have been since all times, and here's an example of some recent scams. If we look for the definition of honest profit, it will be something that is linked to attaining profits fairly and legally. But is it possible in today's business world? Is it imperative? Elvin?
Yes, Alex, actually it is imperative. If we look to uniform moral beliefs that business world right now have, CSR, ethics, HRM, they make businesses honest. And this is imperative because they created index of FTSE for good, where people invest in more sustainable business. But is it really honest? Are they being honest or just pretending? Do you want to see paradox of business? I will explain you. Gaining honest profit is when a person sacrifices this honest desire because demand of honesty by others. But gaining honest profit also when person sacrifices honest desire because everyone else demands this honesty. You're confused, I know. But I'll explain you. Fiduciary right. It's legal and ethical relationship between management and shareholders, where law dictates what management of the company should do, they must do, what they can do, what they cannot do. And one of the important demands of this agreement, making as much profit as possible for shareholders. So where is honest profit then? How they made this honest profit? This is the graph. Business should be profitable. Business should be honest. If business will act on shareholders' interest, it will be profitable, but the money will be dishonest. If business act on the moral interest, it will be honest, but they will lose. Eureka! We identified the honest profit, this equilibrium where shareholders' interest meets with moral interests. Isn't that excited? But there is paradox still, because it still remains corporate daydream. Because business is honest when they actually meet shareholders' desire. So why they still dishonest? I will pass my word to Photo. Photo, can you please give us some examples why business is dishonest?
Of course, Elvin. There are two main reasons why business become dishonest. The first reason is people don't talk about honesty or appreciate it the way they should. When it comes to being dishonest, it gets covered widely on the news. People talk about it, people discuss about it. But You guys here probably have heard the news about business scandals, but has any single one of you here have heard the news saying about the benefit that the business get when they are being honest? Have we seen it, guys? Have we seen it? No, right? No. Because it never happens. It's never happened. That's why. The second reason is that business nowadays focuses more on short-term monetary gain over a long-term relationship with the customer. They have these things called quarterly performance review. You know what they care about? They care about the profit that they're going to get in the next 3 months. Just that, just next 3 months. And you know what they do? They give you cheaper price product. They lower the qualities. And you know what they do? They do more advertising. More advertising, guys. And this leads to unfair marketing. When I went to McDonald's, I expected something like this. Do you think, is it fair for me? Is it fair for you guys? Is it fair for all of us to get something on this side? Is it fair, guys? It's not fair, right? It's not fair. And do you know why they do this? They do this because they want to squeeze out the most profit out of each transaction. And let me say about the quote that Warren Buffett has said. It's stated by Warren Buffett that all the business should be ready to expose themselves, to expose all the details to the media, to the public, to their friends, their family, their children. But that's not always the case in our today's business world, right? That's why we need some business regulations, such as fair trade. But this concept is still new in our business world. It did not exist a few decades ago, which is why, but since luckily it exists now today, therefore we can expect our future of business world happen to be changing for the better. Is that right, Aditya?
That's right, Photo. The world indeed seems to be changing for the better. Let me take this opportunity to introduce each and every one of you to Pat O'Brien, recently nominated as the most honest person in the world. Let's have a call. So Pat, what do you think about the bribe that you've been asked to pay? How do you react to that? The bribe? No, but you won't get what you want if you don't pay that bribe. I'm telling you. See? It's shocking, but it's true, isn't it? It's shocking, it's true. Why has dishonest profit become so glamorous these days? The social media and the mass media is playing a vital role. They've got people together more than ever before. Corporates literally fear them these days. Imagine, back in the days, in 1980s, in the early 90s, when paid media had a major chunk, and the big houses, corporate houses, and the powerhouses, they literally owned the media. A hypothetical situation where Homer Simpson once threatened a journalist with a gun. With the use of the influence media, he altered the situation to his favor, and suddenly he got the quote, "Supermodel Homer Simpson poses with a gun," instead of two reporting. But in this age of transparency, where everybody is scared of exposure, one of the major contributors in this is WikiLeaks, an honest journalism, not-for-profit organization which derives and exposes most scams and scandals on the basis of what they reveal as their secret sources. If Batman was a real character, we would have known that Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same, thanks to WikiLeaks. But the pace with which we are moving today is quite slow. Newer concepts of the social enterprise are now being introduced in both the developing and developed countries. A social enterprise usually has emphasis on the social upliftment along with the environmental well-being, with little interest whatsoever in the shareholders. But this may not be viable, but may be very essential in the upliftment of the society. A good example of this would be Amul and Tupperware in India, which help women to contribute to their daily income. But the question still remains whether honest profit is a corporate daydream or an imperative. Do we have an answer to that, Elvin?
Yes, Aditya, we have an answer for that. We say in a macro level, it's corporate daydream, but in a macro level, it's imperative. So it's comparative. Honest profit is when balance our this intention, our desire to make money. And as Adam Smith argued, it's not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but their own interest. But there's a good side in it, because if they wouldn't have this desire to make money, then the business wouldn't exist, and we wouldn't have products and the business. Charlie Chaplin, the man who has been known for his silence, made impactful speech. Let's listen to it.
We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich. and can provide for everyone, the way of life can be free and beautiful. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure.
It was impactful, wasn't it? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time.